The night was cold, and the air carried the smell of burning stone. The fortress was silent now, but silence after battle was never peace. Ashes still floated in the air, glowing faintly as if the walls themselves remembered the fire. A lone human soldier moved carefully through the broken halls. His boots touched the cracked floor, and every sound echoed far too loudly. His orders had been simple: clear the fortress, leave nothing alive. But when he turned a corner and found a locked cell, something inside told him his orders would no longer be so simple. Behind the iron bars sat a girl, not human, not like him. Her skin had a faint silver glow beneath the torchlight. Her eyes, large and glimmering, watched him with fear and something else, something desperate. The soldier froze. He raised his weapon because that was what training demanded. Prisoners could be dangerous. Prisoners could be traps. But the girl did not scream, did not fight. Instead, she lifted her chained hands and whispered, "Show mercy, human. Please." Her voice was soft, but it cut through the soldier's chest like a blade. He hesitated, his finger hovering near the trigger. Why would she beg for mercy from him, an enemy? And why did her words sound less like fear and more like surrender? She rose slowly from the cold floor, chains rattling around her ankles. Her body was thin, too thin, like she had been starved for days. Her lips trembled as she spoke again. "My body will give you powerful offspring. Do not kill me." The soldier's grip on his weapon tightened. His heart pounded. What kind of plea was this? He had expected curses, hatred, maybe silence, but not an offer like this. Not a captive offering her own body. He stepped closer, eyes narrowing. "Why would you say that?" he asked, his voice low. The girl shook, but she did not look away. Her eyes were wet with unshed tears. "Because it is the truth," she whispered. "My bloodline carries strength. My people fear it. They locked me here so no one could claim it." The soldier felt the weight of her words pressing on him. This was no ordinary prisoner. This was someone hidden away for a reason, a dangerous reason. Outside the broken walls, the wind howled. Shadows moved across the ruins. The soldier knew time was running short. Patrols could return. Beasts could smell the blood. Yet here he was, standing in front of a captive who begged him not for release, but for mercy. She knelt suddenly, lowering her head until her chains scraped against the stone. "I know you were sent to kill," she said. "I know your kind wants nothing left alive. But look at me. I am no warrior, no threat." Her shoulders shook, her voice cracked. "If you kill me, my story ends here, nameless, forgotten. If you spare me, I will be yours. I will give you the legacy my people fear. Only you have shown me eyes that do not burn with cruelty." The soldier swallowed hard. This was wrong. Everything about this was wrong. She was the enemy, yet the enemy in front of him did not hold a blade. She held only desperation, only chains. His mind screamed at him to finish it, end the mission, follow orders, walk away. But his heart whispered another command. That mercy was not weakness, that maybe this one life mattered more than the orders carved into his mind. Her eyes lifted, meeting his again. A soft glow flickered within them, like starlight caught in glass. She was still trembling, still weak, yet there was a strange dignity in the way she waited. She had offered herself not as a lover, but as someone who wanted to survive, as someone who believed survival was worth any price. The soldier lowered his weapon. The sound of metal against stone echoed as his gun slipped a little in his grip. Her lips parted in surprise. "Does that mean, Yah will not kill me," she whispered, almost afraid to believe it. He did not answer, not yet. Instead, he scanned the shadows around them. Every instinct told him they could not stay here. This fortress was a tomb, and if he stayed too long, he would become part of it. Finally, he spoke, his voice rough. "I don't know what you are. I don't know why you were chained, but I will not kill you tonight." Her chains rattled as her hands trembled. She pressed her forehead to the cold floor. Tears fell and vanished into the dust. "Then I will follow you," she whispered. "Even if I am only a burden, I will follow." The soldier stared at her. He knew what this meant. Taking her with him would be dangerous. His commanders would call it betrayal, the enemy would call it theft, and fate itself would call it madness. But in that moment, as the ruined fortress groaned under the weight of the night, He knew one thing with certainty. The choice he had made would change everything. The girl looked up at him, chains heavy on her body but hope flickering in her eyes. She whispered again, softer this time. "Show mercy, human." And though he did not say it aloud, he already had. The fortress burned behind him. Orange light flickered through the broken walls and the smoke curled into the night sky. The soldier walked with heavy steps, but his mind carried a weight far heavier than his pack. Beside him, stumbling in her chains, walked the alien girl. Her silver glow faint under the starlight. Her breaths were shallow, every step a struggle. But she did not complain. She followed silently, as if afraid that any sound might break the fragile mercy she had been given. The soldier's jaw tightened. Every voice in his head screamed at him. "What are you doing? This is the enemy. Your orders are clear." He had been trained to obey, not to question. He had been raised to believe mercy was weakness. Yet when he looked at the girl beside him, he saw no soldier. He saw no monster. He saw only someone broken, someone chained, someone desperate enough to beg for life in the strangest of ways. He gripped his weapon tighter. One thought gnawed at him. What if she's lying? What if her story of powerful offspring was just a trick to survive? What if she was more dangerous than she seemed? He had seen enemies play weak before and then strike when least expected. The girl glanced at him, her glowing eyes cautious. "You do not speak," she whispered softly. "Do you regret sparing me?" Her words cut deep. He turned his face away, unwilling to meet her gaze. But her question lingered like poison. Did he regret it? Yes. And no. Killing her would have been easier, cleaner. But as he remembered the way she had bowed her head, the way her voice had broken when she begged, he knew he could not have pulled the trigger. They reached the edge of the ruins. The forest beyond was dark and alive with distant sounds. Wolves howled. Wings of unseen creatures flapped in the night. Every shadow seemed to watch them. The soldier knew they had to keep moving, but he also knew he was crossing a line that could never be uncrossed. If his commanders discovered what he had done, they would brand him a traitor. If his fellow soldiers learned of this, they would spit on his name. And if the girl betrayed him, his life would end in the most foolish way possible. Yet something deep inside him whispered that saving her was not wrong. That maybe, just maybe, it was the only right thing he had ever done. The girl stumbled suddenly, her knees hitting the dirt. She gasped, the chains pulling at her wrists. The soldier stopped, torn between instinct and reason. For a long moment he just stood there, staring at her fragile form. Part of him said, "Leave her. She'll slow you down. She's not worth it." But another voice, quieter yet stronger, said, "Help her. S.O. He's yours to protect now." With a sigh, he bent down, sliding his arms under her frail body. She let out a soft gasp as he lifted her. "You shouldn't," she whispered. "I will burden you." His grip tightened around her. "I've carried heavier," he muttered, but his chest burned with unease. He was not carrying a comrade, not carrying supplies. He was carrying a secret that could ruin him. The forest swallowed them in shadows. Branches scratched against his armor, and the wind whispered like 1,000 voices. Every step deeper into the darkness made him question himself again. What was he planning? He could not take her to camp. He could not hide her forever. So why had he spared her life? The girl's head rested weakly against his shoulder, her breath warm against his neck. "You wonder if I am a lie," she said softly, as if reading his thoughts. Her voice trembled but carried a strange calm. "I am not. My people cursed me because of what I carry, but I speak truth, human. If you wished to end me, you would have done so already." The soldier clenched his teeth. She was right. He had the chance, but he hadn't done it. Something had stopped him, something he couldn't name. Not desire, not logic, not even pity. Something deeper, something dangerous. They paused by a fallen tree. The soldier set her down gently, his eyes scanning the shadows for movement. The fire of the fortress still glowed in the distance. Soon others would come to search the ruins. He knew their time was running short. The girl curled against the tree, chains rattling softly, her glowing eyes fixed on him. "You think of me as a danger," she said, "yet I think of you as hope." The soldier shook his head. "I'm no savior," he muttered. "I'm just a man who broke orders." Her lips curved into a faint, tired smile. "And sometimes, breaking an order is the first step to freedom. The word struck him harder than he expected. For the first time, he wondered if he had not only spared her, but Frey, and himself as well. The night stretched long and heavy around them. The soldier sat with his back to the tree, weapon across his knees. The girl rested beside him, her eyes slowly closing in exhaustion, and though he told himself it was madness, he kept watch, not as her captor, but as her protector. And in the silence of the forest, with only the crackle of distant fire behind them, he realized the true weight of his dilemma. He had chosen mercy. Now he had to live with the cost. The forest pressed in from all sides. Branches curled like claws. Leaves whispered with every gust of wind. The soldier moved carefully, his weapon gripped tight, the weight of the alien girl still in his arms. Behind them, the fortress burned like a dying heart, casting faint orange light into the night. Every step into the woods felt like stepping deeper into danger. Shadows stretched long and strange. Strange eyes blinked from the darkness, then vanished. The soldier's heartbeat echoed in his chest, louder than his boots against the dirt. The girl stirred weakly, her chains rattling as she whispered, "Something follows us." Her voice was soft but sharp, as if she could feel things that he could not. The soldier froze, his eyes sweeping the trees. Nothing moved, but the silence was too heavy. He trusted her fear more than his own training. They moved again, slower this time. The soldier placed her gently on her feet, supporting her with one arm as they walked. The forest floor crunched under their steps. Every sound seemed to chase them deeper into the shadows. Suddenly, a howl split the night. Not the howl of a wolf, not any creature the soldier knew. It was deeper, filled with hunger. The girl's hand clutched his arm tightly, her glowing eyes wide with terror. "They release the hunters," she whispered. "They will not stop until I am dead, or taken back." The soldier's blood ran cold. So it wasn't just the forest stalking them. Something had been unleashed, something sent for her, and now for him too. He pulled her close, whispering, "Stay quiet, stay close." His voice was steady, but inside his chest, thunder rolled. The trees grew denser, branches tangling like cages. Moonlight barely touched the ground. Every shadow seemed alive. Every whisper of wind sounded like breath. The soldier guided her through a narrow path, but then he heard it. Footsteps, not theirs, heavy and deliberate. The crack of branches under weight, the growl of something too large to be human. The girl trembled, her chains scraping the bark of a tree as she leaned close. "They smell me," she whispered. "They will not leave until blood spills." The soldier's hand tightened on his weapon. He had faced enemies before. He had seen blood and death. But this was different. This was the darkness itself hunting them. Suddenly, two glowing eyes appeared in the distance, then another pair, and another, a circle forming around them. The growls grew louder. Shadows moved, large, beast-like figures stepping out from the trees, their bodies hunched, their teeth glinting in faint moonlight. The soldier raised his weapon, his voice sharp. "Stay behind me!" He aimed at the closest beast, but before he could fire, the girl touched his arm. Her voice was desperate. "No, wait. They cannot be killed like this." His eyes flashed to her, confusion burning in them. "What do you mean?" he hissed. She swallowed hard, her silver glow flickering brighter. "They were made to hunt my kind. Bullets will only slow them, but—" Her voice shook. "But there is another way." The beasts stepped closer, their growls rattling the ground. The soldier aimed anyway, finger ready to pull the trigger, but the girl stepped forward, chains dragging through the dirt. Her voice rose, trembling but strong. She began to hum, a strange melody, alien and haunting. The sound twisted through the air like a thread of silver. The beasts paused, their growls faltering, their glowing eyes blinked, uncertain. The song grew louder, deeper, filled with sorrow and command. The forest seemed to listen. Even the wind stilled. The soldier stared in disbelief. The girl's song made the beasts lower their heads. The growls turned to whimpers. One by one, they backed away into the shadows. The circle broke, and the night swallowed them again. Silence returned, heavy and strange. The soldier's heart pounded as he lowered his weapon. He turned to her, eyes wide. What was that? The girl swayed on her feet, her chains clinking softly, her glow dimmed with exhaustion. "My voice," she whispered. "It is cursed and blessed both. My people feared it. That is why they locked me away. They knew I could control what they could not." The soldier stared, torn between awe and fear. She was not just a prisoner. She was power. Power wrapped in fragile chains. Power that could calm monsters. Power that others wanted caged. He stepped closer, his voice low. "Then why trust me? Why show me this?" Her eyes lifted to his, shining faintly. "Because you gave me mercy," she whispered. "And mercy must be repaid." The soldier looked at her for a long moment. He realized then that she was no ordinary captive, and that sparing her was not only disobedience, it was the start of something far more dangerous. The night pressed in again. The beasts had gone, but the forest still watched. The soldier lifted her back into his arms. "We need to move," he muttered. And as they disappeared deeper into the shadows, he knew the hunt was far from over. The forest no longer felt alive. It felt hungry. The soldier's boots sank into damp earth, and every step echoed too loudly. The alien girl clung weakly to his arm, her chains dragging softly. Her breath was shallow, but her glowing eyes kept searching the shadows. They had survived the beasts, but peace. He never lasted long in a land cursed by war. The soldier knew this silence was wrong, too heavy, too deep. The forest was holding its breath, waiting. The girl whispered suddenly, "Something worse comes." Her voice trembled, and her glow dimmed, as if her body itself feared what approached. The soldier raised his weapon, scanning the trees. He had fought soldiers, faced traps, escaped fire. But this silence, it was different. It was the silence of prey before the predator. Then it came, a deep rumble that shook the ground beneath them. The trees shivered, leaves rained down, and from the darkness, a shape moved, huge, powerful, eyes burning like molten gold, teeth longer than blades flashing in faint moonlight. The soldier cursed under his breath. "What in hell is that?" The girl's chains rattled as she gripped his arm tightly. Her body shivered as if remembering old nightmares. "They call it a night stalker," she whispered. "A beast bred to kill everything, human, alien, it does not matter. It cannot be tamed, not even by me." The soldier's chest tightened. If she could calm the hunting beast before, yet feared this one, then this monster was something beyond reason. The stalker stepped forward, its claws sinking deep into the soil. Its growl shook the trees. Birds erupted into the sky. The soldier raised his gun. "Stay behind me," he barked, even as he knew bullets would barely scratch it. The girl's voice cracked. "You cannot fight it. Even your weapons will only anger it." Her fear was real, her trembling body proof that she had no song, no secret that could stop this predator. But the soldier did not step back. His instincts screamed to run, but his legs rooted to the ground. He could not abandon her. He had chosen mercy, and mercy demanded he stand. The beast's roar exploded through the forest. It lunged forward with terrifying speed. The soldier fired. Bright flashes lit the night. Bullets tore into the stalker's hide, but it barely flinched. Its massive body crashed through trees as if they were paper. "Run!" he shouted to her, but she shook her head violently. "I will not leave you!" The beast lunged again. The soldier rolled, pulling the girl with him. Its claws shredded the tree where they had stood, bark exploding in all directions. The ground shook with every strike. The girl clung to him, chains cutting into her wrists as she struggled. Her eyes glowed brighter than before. "If we stay, we die," she gasped. "But there may be one way." Her words cut off as the beast swung its tail. The soldier shielded her with his body, the impact throwing them both against a rock. Pain exploded through his chest, but he forced himself to rise. He couldn't stop now. Not here. Not like this. "What way?" he demanded, voice sharp. She pressed a trembling hand to the ground. "The old stones, north of here. My people carved them. The stalker fears their mark. If we can reach them, it will not follow." The soldier's eyes scanned the trees. North, always deeper, always darker. The beast roared again, crashing closer. He had no choice. He pulled her up, his arms strong around her. "Then we run," he growled. And they ran, stumbling through roots and branches as the monster thundered after them. The ground shook with every strike of its claws. The soldier's lungs burned. The girl's chains cut his arm as she clung to him, but neither stopped. Behind them, the roar grew louder, closer, hungrier. At last, faint through the darkness, the soldier saw them. Tall stones rising in a circle, ancient and broken, symbols carved deep into their surface glowing faintly blue. The girl's voice broke with hope. "There, hurry!" The stalker lunged. The soldier threw himself forward, dragging her into the circle of stones. The beast crashed to a halt, its claws digging into the earth. It roared, but it did not enter. Its golden eyes burned with fury, but it stepped back, pacing like a caged demon at Tiao. The edge of the circle, the soldier's chest heaved with every breath. He kept his weapon raised, though his hands shook from exhaustion. The girl fell to her knees, tears sliding down her cheeks. "We are safe, for now," she whispered. The soldier stared at the beast circling outside. Safe? No, not truly, but alive. And for him, that was enough. The stalker roared one last time before vanishing back into the forest. The night fell silent again, but the soldier knew the silence was not victory. It was warning. He turned to the girl. "Why does it fear these stones?" Her eyes lowered, chains heavy against her wrists. "Because these stones carry the mark of my bloodline. The stalker fears me, yet my people chained me." The soldier frowned. Her words twisted inside him like a blade. Every step he took with her pulled him deeper into a truth he didn't yet understand. And as he stood guard under the cold glow of the stones, he realized the predator was not the only one awakened tonight. Something inside him had awakened too, a question of loyalty, of mercy, of fate, and he feared the answer would change everything. The ancient stones stood tall, glowing faint blue against the night. The forest outside was quiet, too quiet, as if the predator still watched from the shadows. The soldier sat with his back against one of the stones, weapon across his knees. Beside him, the alien girl knelt, her chains coiled in the dirt, her silver glow faint but steady. For the first time since he found her, the silence between them was not filled with fear, it was filled with questions. Questions that gnawed at the soldier's mind, refusing to let him rest. At last he spoke, his voice low and steady. "You said the stalker fears your bloodline." His eyes narrowed on her glowing face. "What does that mean? Why would your own people chain you?" The girl hesitated, her lips parting, then closing again. Her fingers trembled as she touched the dirt, drawing faint lines in it. "They chained me because I was born cursed," she wept. Speared, her voice shook, but not with fear, with the weight of a truth long hidden. The soldier leaned closer, his jaw tight. "Cursed?" he repeated. Her eyes lifted to his, glowing faintly like liquid stars. "Not cursed to die, cursed to give life." He frowned, his grip tightening on his weapon. Her words hung heavy in the night air. She continued, her voice soft. "My blood carries power. My people call it the eternal line. A child born from me would be stronger, faster, sharper than any warrior alive. Some say even the predators of the night would bow before them." The soldier's chest tightened. Now he understood why she had begged with those strange words. "My body will give you powerful offspring." It was not desperation alone, it was truth. The girl lowered her head, chains rattling as tears shone in her eyes. "My people did not see me as a daughter. They saw me as a weapon waiting to be stolen. If another tribe took me, if another blood mixed with mine, the power would grow beyond control. So they locked me away, chained like a beast, better forgotten than risked." The soldier stared at her. He had seen cruelty, but this was different. Her own people had feared her so much they had chosen to erase her existence. He felt anger burn in his chest, though he did not understand why. Why should the fate of one alien girl matter to him? And yet it did. Her voice broke again. "When you found me, I thought you would finish what they began, that I would die nameless in the dark. But you gave me something no one else ever has. Choice." She lifted her eyes again, meeting his directly. "And now, human, you must decide. Will you keep me as your burden, or as your bond?" The soldier swallowed hard. Her words cut deeper than any blade. He turned his eyes to the glowing stones, their strange runes whispering of old secrets. He thought of his orders, of the war, of loyalty to his people. And then he thought of her, fragile, trembling, but still alive because of him. Not because of orders, not because of duty, but because of mercy. He finally muttered, voice rough, "I don't want to use you as a weapon." Her eyes widened, surprise flashing through them. "Then why save me?" she whispered. The soldier shook his head. I don't know. Maybe because no one else would. Her lips trembled into a faint, sad smile. That is enough, she whispered. And for the first time, she leaned against his shoulder, chains clinking softly as she rested. The soldier stiffened at first, but then let her stay. Her glow warmed his armor in the cold night, but peace was short-lived. Far away, horns echoed through the forest, deep, thunderous calls that made the trees shiver. The soldier tensed, his hand flying to his weapon. The girl's body shook against him, her voice urgent. They come for me. My own people. They would rather drag me back in chains than let me walk free. The soldier's eyes hardened. So it wasn't just the predators, not just the darkness. The greatest danger was her own blood, her own kin, who feared her enough to destroy her. The girl looked at him, eyes shimmering with pain. You owe me nothing, she whispered. If you leave me now, they will not harm you. They want only me. The soldier rose to his feet, pulling her up with him. His voice was sharp, firm. I made my choice the moment I lowered my weapon. He looked into her eyes, steady and unflinching. You're not theirs anymore. The girl gasped softly, her eyes filling with tears. She nodded, though her voice trembled. Then, together we must run. But human, understand this. Every step with me is a step into war. There will be no turning back. The soldier's lips curled into the faintest trace of a grim smile. War is all I've ever known, he muttered. But this time, maybe it's for something worth fighting for. The horn sounded again, louder, closer. The trees shook as footsteps thundered in the distance. The soldier gripped his weapon, his eyes sharp. The alien girl clung to him, her chains rattling as she whispered one last truth. Then hear my secret fully. I was not born only to bring power. I was born to bring change, and now human, you are part of it. The forest seemed to close in, alive with hunters and enemies, but inside the circle of glowing stones, one man and one chained girl stood together, two fates bound not by blood, but by mercy. And the world around them was about to burn. The horns did not fade. They grew louder, deeper, rolling through the forest like thunder. The soldier's hand gripped his weapon tightly. Beside him, the alien girl trembled, her chains rattling against the glowing stones. They are close, she whispered. Her silver eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the runes on the stones. They will not stop until I am back in their chains. Or dead. The soldier's jaw tightened. He had heard those horns before on the battlefield. It was not the sound of scouts, not the sound of a search. It was the call of hunters, a group trained to track, capture, and kill. The forest shifted as shadows moved between the trees. Figures appeared, tall and armored, their movements sharp and practiced. The soldier counted at least a dozen. Their armor shimmered in the moonlight, carved with markings that matched the girl's chains. These were not strangers. These were her own people. The girl's breath caught. They sent the blood guard, she whispered, her voice filled with dread. They are bound by oath to protect my people's secrets, even if it means killing me. The soldier's heart pounded, so it was true. Her own kind feared her more than they valued her life, and now he was standing between her and an army sworn to erase her. One of the armored hunters stepped forward. His voice was deep, echoing across the clearing. Human soldier, leave her. His spear gleamed faintly as he pointed it toward. Said the girl, she belongs to us. Step aside, and you may live. The soldier raised his weapon, eyes narrowing. She doesn't belong to you anymore, he said firmly. The hunters shifted, their armor clinking softly. Their leader tilted his head, as if studying a madman. Then you choose death, he replied coldly. The girl grabbed the soldier's arm. Please, you cannot fight them all, she whispered desperately. They are too many, too strong. But the soldier did not look at her. His eyes stayed locked on the hunters. I've fought worse odds, he muttered, though inside even he knew the truth. This battle might be his last. The hunters advanced, spreading into a circle. Their weapons gleamed, spears, blades, and bows strung with glowing threads. The runes on their armor pulsed faintly. The girl's body shook harder, her chains glowing in response. They wear the marks to resist my voice, she gasped. They prepared for me. The soldier cursed under his breath, so even her hidden power was useless against them. It would come down to him alone, steel and blood against a dozen hunters. The first spear came flying. The soldier ducked, dragging the girl with him as the weapon buried itself in the earth. He fired, his rifle flashing in the night. One hunter fell, but the others did not falter. They moved like shadows, fast and relentless. The girl cried out as another rushed forward. The soldier swung his weapon like a club, striking the hunter back. Pain jolted up his arm, but he didn't stop. "Stay behind me," he shouted. But the circle was closing fast. The leader raised his hand. "Take the girl alive. Kill the human." They came all at once. The soldier fought like a man possessed. His rifle barked fire. His fists slammed against armor. But for everyone that fell, two more pressed forward. Blades slashed. Arrows cut the air. The girl screamed his name, her chains dragging as she tried to pull him away. Blood ran down his arm, his breath ragged. Still he stood firm. He had chosen mercy, and now mercy demanded his life. But as he stumbled back, his body straining, the girl suddenly rose, her silver glow burning brighter. Her voice broke the night. Not the soft song she used on the beasts, but a scream filled with pain and fury. The stones around them blazed to life, the runes glowing like fire. The hunters staggered, their weapons trembling in their hands. The girl's eyes blazed like twin stars. "You chained me because you feared me," she cried. Her voice echoed through the forest, shaking the air. "But tonight I will not kneel." A shockwave burst from her body. The hunters staggered back, their armor cracking, their weapons shattering in their hands. The ground trembled as if the forest itself bent to her will. The soldier shielded his eyes, the light burning too bright. When it faded, the clearing was silent. The hunters lay scattered on the ground, groaning, defeated. Their leader knelt, his armor broken, his weapons shattered. The girl collapsed to her knees, her glow dimming, her chains smoking as if burned from within. The soldier rushed to her side, catching her before she fell. Her voice was weak, trembling. "I cannot hold it long. They will rise again. We must leave." The soldier stared at the broken hunters around them. He had fought, bled, and nearly died. But in the end, it was her power that had saved them both. Power she feared, power her people hated, and now power that bound her fate to his. He lifted her into his arms once more. Her head rested weakly against his chest. The horns had fallen silent, but the soldier knew this was not the end. It was only the beginning. As he carried her into the dark forest, her faint whisper reached his ear. "You stood for me when no one else would. And now, human, I will stand with you, no matter the cost." The soldier tightened his grip, his voice rough but steady. "Then let them come," he muttered. "We'll face them together." And Hassel. As the night closed around them, the forest held its breath once more. Not in fear of hunters, but in fear of what the hunted might yet become. The night air was heavy with smoke and silence. The broken hunters lay scattered among the glowing stones, their armor cracked, their weapons shattered. The soldier's chest still burned with pain from the battle, his arms sore from carrying her weight, and in his hold, the alien girl breathed weakly, her silver glow fading with every moment. They had survived, but survival felt thin, like a candle flickering against a storm. The soldier laid her gently on the ground within the circle of stones. Her chains rattled softly as her trembling hands reached for his. Her eyes, still faintly glowing, looked up at him with both fear and hope. "You have seen what I am," she whispered. Her voice was weak, yet it carried the weight of truth. "You know why my people fear me. My bloodline is too dangerous, too powerful. They will never stop hunting me. They will never stop hunting you." The soldier's jaw clenched, his eyes sweeping the forest edge. The shadows still moved, whispers of retreating hunters drifting away into the night. They were not gone. They would come again, stronger, more prepared, and he knew she was right. Choosing her meant choosing war. But when he looked at her frail form, at the girl who had begged him for mercy and then unleashed power that shook the world, he realized something. He had already chosen. The moment he lowered his weapon in that ruined fortress, his path had changed forever. He crouched beside her, voice low but steady. "Then let them come," he said firmly. "I won't hand you over. I won't leave you. Whatever they call you, cursed, blessed, weapon. To me, you're just someone who deserves to live." Her lips trembled, tears shining in her eyes. "No one has ever said that to me," she whispered. All my life I was told I was a danger, a curse to be hidden. And now, you give me a place, a reason. The soldier tightened his grip on her hand. You're not a curse, you're proof that mercy matters, and I'll fight for that. Always. The forest groaned as if listening, the wind rustling through the leaves. Her silver glow brightened faintly, pulsing with his words. It was as if her very life responded to his choice, to his defiance against fate. But then the ground shook. Distant drums began to echo, louder and louder. The soldier looked up sharply. The girl's eyes widened in dread. They call the Legion now, she whispered, her voice breaking. Not hunters, not blood guard. The full strength of my people. They will burn everything to claim me back. The soldier's chest tightened. He could not face an army, not alone, not with one weapon and a girl barely strong enough to stand. And yet, as he looked into her glowing eyes, he felt no fear, only resolve. She gripped his arm desperately. You must leave me. If they take me, they may spare you. If you stay, they will kill you. Please, go. He shook his head, his voice sharp. I didn't save you just to leave you here. That's not who I am. Her tears fell, streaks of silver against her cheeks. You don't understand, she cried softly. My bloodline means more than me. If you stay, you'll be hunted until death. If you leave me, you can live. The soldier leaned closer, his voice fierce. I don't want to live without honor, without purpose. And right now, you are my purpose. The girl's breath caught, her chest rising sharply. Her chains glowed faintly as if reacting to his words. Then, with trembling hands, she lifted them toward him. Her voice was fragile, pleading. Then break them. If I am yours, free me from these chains. Make me more than a prisoner. Make me more than what they fear. The soldier stared at the bindings, thick, ancient metal covered with runes. They pulsed faintly, as if alive, his hands wrapped around them, his muscles straining as he pulled. The runes burned against his skin, the pain shooting through his arms, but he did not let go. With a roar, the chains cracked. The glow shattered like glass, spilling sparks into the night. One by one, the shackles fell away. The girl gasped, her body trembling as the weight left her. For the first time, she was unbound. Her silver glow flared brighter, filling the circle of stones with radiant light. She rose slowly, no longer crawling, no longer chained. Her eyes burned like twin stars, her voice trembling but strong. You freed me, not as a weapon, not as a curse. You freed me as myself. The soldier stepped back, his chest heaving. He had never seen such beauty and power mixed together. She was no longer a captive begging for mercy. She was something more, something chosen. The drums outside the forest grew louder, closer. The ground trembled with the march of soldiers. The enemy would arrive soon, but inside the glowing circle, the girl turned to him, her chains broken at her feet. Her voice was soft, filled with something he had never expected. Then hear my vow, human. If you fight for me, I will fight for you. Not as prisoner, not as burden, but as bond. The soldier's lips tightened into a grim smile. He raised his weapon, his eyes hard. Then let them come, he said again, his voice steady as stone. This fight isn't theirs anymore, it's ours. And as the first shadows of the enemy appeared at the forest edge, the soldier and the girl stood side by side. Mercy had bound them, choice had freed them, and together they were ready to face the world.